creating a lifetime of unforgettable experiences, building a mountain of memories. Our guests are still smiling. Our focus is on what's still to come. For the community that has always been behind us. 100 years later, we're the best we've ever been. Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, a mountain of memories.
It's time to investigate together the current status of El Nino, what it means for fall and winter in Colorado and other parts of the country. Hi, everybody. This is Peaks to Plains Weather, and I am Chief Meteorologist Matt Meister. Thanks for joining me here for this look at what we expect kind of transitioning out of 2026 and into 27. Coming from summer into winter over the next 3 months, and the Climate Prediction Center here updating their forecast within in the middle of August. They do that every month in the middle of the month. It does show correlations in Colorado of probably being above average on precipitation, although the signal is stronger across the Pacific Northwest. But there is a real strong signal in the southwestern U.S., including the Centennial State, of being above average on precipitation. And we're talking September, October, and November here. There's a reason for this. That's because the high that drives the southwest monsoon should be with us through September. And then there are a couple other things as we start heading into October and November that might have us above average on precipitation as well. So that's some good news, right? We're still in a deep drought here, and we need the water in a big way. So let's come back to El Nino now and talk about that. In fact, it's already here. It's already strong. All of the super El Nino hype, it is above the numbers that we need to see for this to be considered a strong El Nino. So what does it mean for you, and what is it? I want to take a second and talk about that. What you're looking at here is the temperature anomaly in the Pacific Ocean, meaning above or below average. And the red colors that you see right along the equator, that's the El Nino. In one little area of the ocean that straddles the equator, kind of between 120 and 170 degrees west, we call that Nino 3.4. There are a few different sort of boxes or areas that we look at for the temperatures to analyze what El Nino's doing both at the surface and below it. On the temperatures, it's 2.7 degrees Celsius above average. When it gets to 2 degrees Celsius above average, that's the strong El Nino or super El Ninos that we talk about. And so it's very likely that we keep that around through the rest of 2026. We may start to see the strength of it come back a little bit for the late part of winter, but it's already here. That's the point. And so the Climate Prediction Center, in their mid-August updates for December, January, and February, which is meteorological winter, their outlooks across the United States showing what you would expect, what we often see in El Ninos. More likely than not to be above average across the northern tier for temperatures, and more likely than not to be above average on precipitation across the southern tier. The southern jet more active during El Ninos. Now for Colorado, things are a little bit different. And so I want to show you what I've gone back, what I've looked at, what I've noticed in the data during El Nino years. And this is kind of my outlook for winter 26-27 in the Centennial State. There's a stronger correlation in the southwestern mountains of being above average on precipitation compared to some other parts of the high country. So for the ski resorts, Telluride, Purgatory, Wolf Creek, I'd throw Monarch in this as well. More likely than not to be above average on snow. And that's my forecast here for winter. So that would be some good news. Like I said, other parts of the mountains, the correlation isn't as strong. Here's the other thing, and this is kind of the heart of the Peaks to Plains area here. We are more likely than in non-El Nino years to get these 1 or 2 a decade type storms. These are storms that you remember. These are blizzards. These are big mature cyclones that are off to our south, that are with us for a day or two, that brings real heavy snow, significant impacts. Some of these you're going to remember. These sort of historical type storms happened during strong El Nino years. The Christmas blizzard in 1982, my wife's family talks about that, having to use snowmobiles to get around because cars couldn't do it. The blizzard of 97. If you've been here long enough in Colorado, you remember that in October. Remember those 2 storms we had in December, on December 20th and 26th, 27th in 2006? That was an El Nino year. And the bomb cyclone in 2019, the lowest pressure ever recorded in Colorado, was also during an El Nino year. So what I want to point out about these types of storms, especially in the cities, you get one of those in a winter, odds are that when you look at the seasonal numbers of, hey, how was snow this winter? Odds are that you end up above average. That doesn't mean you had a lot of storms or you had a lot of strong storms, but one can just kind of skew things because they tend to bring so much water into the area. So we'll watch for that. We want an active storm track. We want frequent storms moving through, and El Nino doesn't guarantee that. But, you know, the likelihood of getting a stronger storm, let's say mountain areas east of the Continental Divide, south of Interstate 70 into Denver, and then southward from there does go up. Here's the other thing I'm watching for, and this comes back to the mountain areas that I was talking about. In the central and northern mountains, the signal during an El Nino is not as strong as it is in the southwestern part of the state. So it's not a guarantee that we'll be above average in snow. In fact, there have been strong El Nino years where we've actually been below average in snow in the high country for, you know, the bigger resorts like Breckenridge, Keystone, Vail, you know, the I-70 resorts up toward Winter Park and Steamboat. So it's not as likely. Doesn't mean we can't be above average. We've had El Ninos where we've been above average. But I'll tell you this, it's got to be better than last year, right? I'm confident. Second time in a row I did that, my friends. I got a lot going on here today. I'm trying to get some new cameras on. Okay, here's the situation. There are 4 different severe thunderstorm warnings that are ongoing right now across southeastern Colorado. And the newest one is just to the west and along Highway 350 off to the northeast of Trinidad. This storm moving toward Model, maybe it's Model, I'm not sure. I've never heard that one pronounced. Probably Model or Model, I'm not sure. You can correct me. I would welcome that. Moving southeast at about 15 is going to cross Highway 350 here with some wind gusts between now and about 6:30. And there could be some wind gusts near 60 miles per hour. I want to focus, though, on this storm right here that is now crossing Highway 109 in the Higbee area. Because as it was moving over the Wagon Gap area, areas like Lost Canyon and Spring Canyon between Highway 350 and Highway 109, it was a really strong storm for about 15 minutes. And I'm going to loop this for you. And you'll see a couple of frames here where there's some blue that shows up, and the radar presentation, we call it, during that time frame was really, really indicative of a strong storm. And I'm going to stop it when it gets there. So right here, and then the next frame back behind it. Those 2 frames right there have a couple of features. I can see in the reflectivity, the rear flank downdraft, the forward flank downdraft, the updraft of the storm back in here, and then the core of the storm. It is very possible in here that we had some hail that was over 2 inches in diameter. So this would have been between about 5:45 and about 6 o'clock. We may not get any reports because there's not a lot out there. I was zooming in on the satellite. I do see one ranch that's out there on County Road 197.6. If it didn't hit that residence, we may not know. But it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But in terms of what it looked like on radar and what it was likely doing as a result, I would not be surprised if there was some large hail with that. While I was talking here, the Weather Service has put out a new severe thunderstorm warning for this storm as it moves off to the east here at about 20 miles per hour. So let's move it forward in time, about 20 miles per hour here. Moving toward the Higbee area now because I've got to speed the radar up. So let me retrack that for you. Apologize for that. And on this track east at about 20 miles per hour, that'll actually get it out near Highway 101 in about 40 or 45 minutes. So it starts moving across southern Bent County. It's been over southern Otero County. There's a severe thunderstorm to the east of there as well. That one may be putting down some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. Most of the hail with this one is probably below an inch in diameter, but that severe thunderstorm warning is up until 6:45. There's a cluster of storms back here south of Highway 50, right on the Pueblo and Otero County line. This one is what we call outflow dominant. And if I loop this over the last 45 minutes, what you'll see here is a developing cold pool with this storm and an outflow boundary that is advancing out ahead of the rain. And you can see that here on radar. All of this red is wind moving away from the radar. There's little pockets here that I should... This is moving toward the radar. This is some of the inflow here on the north end of this, right up in here. But right on in here, moving across Tempest right now, is an outflow boundary. It's not as strong as it was earlier, but some gusts over 40 miles per hour certainly possible with that. And then we still have flash flood warnings for the Aspen Acres fire, where we did get reports earlier of North Creek and North Creek Road of about 6 inches to a foot of water that was going over the road here. And I need to put this on 3-hour accumulation now. And you can see just to the north of Beulah here in this sort of green is where more than an inch of rain fell. So hopefully, even though there was some debris reported in the water that was flowing there, hopefully it wasn't super significant. But that report of the flash flooding did come in from Pueblo County Emergency Management, who was coordinating with local officials there. So as I thought would be the case, it's gotten active over eastern Colorado here early this evening. This cluster of storms, this is going to be our severe weather area here. I talked about this morning, yesterday, made posts on social media through the day today, and it's working out pretty good here. A couple of these cells may have these little windows where they produce some hail around an inch in diameter. We'll watch this one to the south of La Junta. That one is still the strongest of the ongoing storms there and does have a little bit of organization with it right on Highway 109 right now, moving through the Higbee area, right where the big jog westward of Highway 109 is. You can see that on the radar there. That one still could have some hail over an inch in diameter. The hail's not as big as it was earlier, but that's kind of my biggest concern. But as these all move southeast for the rest of the evening, we'll continue to have a severe weather threat with them. And so Skycast doing a decent job of kind of showing everything here. I'm out ahead of this about an hour and a half, and it has the right idea. It's a little bit slow with everything. So we'll get the storms out of here a little bit quicker than Skycast is showing, but the idea of the storms is certainly right. And then we have a different situation tomorrow behind the cold front that's coming in, driving some of these thunderstorms over the eastern plains. Because when you wake up tomorrow morning behind the front, our low-level moisture will have increased a noticeable amount compared to today. And we'll push that up the east slopes of the Rocky Mountains and into the southern slopes of the Palmer Divide in northern El Paso County during the afternoon tomorrow. And we've still got the monsoon overhead as well. And so the storms that form over the mountains in the monsoon, when they can get east of the mountains and tap that low-level moisture, they'll strengthen. Now, it's going to be cooler tomorrow compared to what we had out there today. And because of that, it makes sort of the initiation of storms a little bit in question, because there'll be a little layer of some stability in the mid-levels of the atmosphere with this cool air at the surface. But late in the day, there's a wave coming in from the northwest, and once it gets here, I think we're in business. There might be some low clouds over parts of the plains early tomorrow morning. Skycast isn't picking up on that, but given where the dew points are, that wouldn't surprise me. And in the monsoon tomorrow, we'll see some storms develop in the middle of the day. Now, the first couple, as they try to move off the hills, may weaken. But then when the wave gets here, late in the afternoon into the evening, you see some of the storms get stronger. And when these storms are by themselves, they'll have the potential for some large hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. Then as we move farther into the evening, they'll coalesce a little bit, organize. A developing cold pool will make strong gusty wind more of a threat than hail. And then those storms will come to an end. And that is our day of most significant severe weather threat. Kind of from the interstate out toward Highway 71 on either side of that a little bit, there's like an alleyway where we may see some pretty strong thunderstorms tomorrow. Again, I am watching late afternoon, early part of the evening. So that's how I see everything, my friends, here right now, as we move through the rest of the night into tomorrow. I can take your questions if you'd like. I can answer something for you about the weekend, the extended forecast. You can come on here and be a part of our coverage by using the links that we always have available to you. But for the rest of the evening, we'll watch these storms that are kind of out ahead of this cluster over southeast Colorado. So it's Otero County, Los Animas County, Bent, Prowers, and Baca County. You guys are the ones that are in the window of severe weather here for about the next 2.5 hours, I would say. And then we'll decrease things across the area. So that's where we sit. For those of you just joining us here, I will pop back into what we have going on over the southeastern plains. Our storm coverage made possible by Tamco Building Products and their Hail Guard shingles beyond Class 4. And we'll zoom in on the radar here to a couple of different severe thunderstorm warnings. At this point, they're all to the south of the Arkansas River and along and east of Highway 350. We have a couple different things that we're watching. A severe thunderstorm in southern Bent County. We had one earlier in southwestern Otero County that's been allowed to expire. And what has been the strongest storm here, right on the Otero and Bent County line, that probably produced some 2-inch diameter hail about a half hour ago to the west of Highway 109. I'm not sure if it hit anything, but it doesn't mean it wasn't out there. And then a severe thunderstorm warning just to the northeast of Honey here, kind of approaching Highway 350. And that one could have some hail a little bit under 1 inch in diameter, but also some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. That storm's moving off to the east-southeast at about 15 miles per hour. So that's where we sit. You can track these storms yourself in the Peaks to Plains weather app. We always invite you to do that anytime you need to. We have all of these tools available for you in the app. We've worked really hard to make that a useful tool for you. So those of you that are out ahead of these storms, just be ready for them. There may be some new severe thunderstorm warnings. You know where the storms are, kind of how they're going to evolve. And another day of severe weather, like I said, tomorrow. And we'll talk about that tomorrow morning on Mornings with Meister. This is Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together.
Hey, this is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified Tamco installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.
Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&D Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy. Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for evacuation orders, law enforcement activity, missing persons, and more. Choose up to 5 locations that matter to you, like home, work, and school, so you know what's going on and what to do next. It's free, easy to set up, and designed to keep you in control. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Employee pricing is over, but at Phil Long Ford in Motor City, American value still means something. Colorado's best season, Phil Long's biggest discounts of the year, 0% financing, no payments for 90 days. And I'll throw $1,000 towards your down payment. Plus, get a complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan.
That's the Phil Long way.
We'll beat any deal by $750, and we'll prove it. Only at the original Ford store in Motor City.